All right, guys, so today, in a very special episode of Panther Talk,
faded paint, cracked windshields, check engine lights. These are just some of the few battle scars of this legendary police car. And now, after having been discontinued for 10 years, don't be surprised if you see old, faded, and way beyond their prime Crown Vics patrolling a city near you.
Another legendary page gets added to the legacy of our precious P71. Like a true American hero, the Crown Victoria P71 has once again buckled up its duty belt for one last tour of duty. And ironically enough, we can thank modern technology for the old Vic's unprecedented comeback.
As many of you might have heard recently, agencies across the US are being forced to bring the Crown Vic out of retirement for yet another tour of duty. And it's actually due to the shortage of microchips that are used in modern day cars. That's because modern day police cars are filled to the brim with modern day technology and sensors that monitor all kinds of information from acceleration to hard braking and everything else in between. And with a shortage of the microchips that it takes to run all these electronics, police departments across the US are finding themselves with a lack of police cruisers to patrol their cities.
What that means is that agencies and police departments across the US are being forced to dust off their old, outdated fleet of Crown Vics to once again patrol a city near you. So in the spirit of the Crown Victoria technically coming back, I'm gonna take you guys on a ride along with this fully loaded, outdated Florida Highway Patrol Crown Vic. So you guys can get a point of view. You guys can get an experience of what a lot of these rookies, these new officers some of these guys born in 2001, they're gonna be driving this car, a car that literally has pretty much not changed since 1998. 1998, 2021, 23 years. I know for a lot of my Panther enthusiasts, this is a bit of a reality check. Our car, our precious car, is slowly achieving classic status. 23 years brought back from the dead to literally patrol in 2021. Now, I've actually had the privilege of policing while the Crown Vic was still around. Actually, my very first patrol car was a Crown Victoria.
And with myself recently having to work in one of these new FPIU Explorers, I'm not going to lie, I've gotten kind of spoiled and used to them. They really are light years ahead of the old P71s.
All right, well, the only thing left to do is to turn on this literal time capsule of not only police vehicle but police equipment. I mean, look at this thing. This is literally from another world at this point. Let's turn this old dinosaur on and take her for a ride, shall we? Now, there's one thing these new modern police cars will never have, and that's the rumble and grumble of that good old-fashioned American V8.
So, what's it like to drive a police car with a chassis that's almost been unchanged since the late 80s? It's bad. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's bad. Compared to the Explorers and Taurus's smart all-wheel drive drivetrain system, the P71 really shows its age. And the fact it's a solid rear axle, rear-wheel drive V8 really doesn't help under extreme cornering conditions and wet pavement, snow, gravel, or any number of road conditions that could potentially affect the handling of the car.
I'm not trying to bash on the Crown Vic or the Panther platform, but if we want to be realistic, the design, the platform, everything, let's take it back to 1998 where the post Aero design came out. That's been over 23 years. Do you realize how much technology has changed in the last 5 years, let alone 23 years? Now, that's not to say that you can't make these cars handle like a modern day sports car or come as close to a modern day sports car, because you definitely can. And I'm gonna leave that for another video where we're gonna talk about the type of modifications you guys need to do to these cars to make them keep up, or at least be up to par with the 2020s. So yeah, the body roll is excessive compared to today's standards. There's tons of oversteer at some points, tons of understeer at other points. And like I said, the fact that it's rear wheel drive really doesn't aid in any of that. It actually magnifies the cornering issues that these cars have. Back in the day, these were the kings of the road, man. These were the top dogs, the top of their game when it came to police interceptors. But you know, it's been 23 years, boys. This old dog's got a lot of catching up to do. Now, the issues don't just stop at suspension or turning or cornering or anything like that. It also travels on to, like I said, modern technology. For enthusiasts, for people like me, this is what I want. I want a car with no assists, no traction control, no nannies, nothing like that. It's just pretty much me, the steering wheel, and what I can do with that car. But for modern day policing, these cars right there, man, the number one priority for those cars is officer safety. Remember, at this point, we're not talking about enthusiasts. We're not talking about just a regular civilian buying these cars off and driving them and doing what they want with them. We're talking about police officers and what makes them safer. And this thing ain't got no side curtain airbags, no side impact airbags, nothing. There's no kind of sensors. The new modern cars, the new modern police cars, you turn too hard, you brake too hard, you hit a bump a certain way, it's communicating with your department, it's communicating with your car, it's communicating with everything, and it's all related to officer safety. You crash this car into a ditch, ain't nobody gonna know anything. You crash a new police car into a ditch, it's gonna send a signal off saying, hey, there was some kind of impact, there was some kind of abrupt stop or something like that. Not only that, they come equipped with GPS to track you in case anything were to happen to you. At least this one doesn't have any of that. The actual police equipment, the siren and light control box is pretty much bare minimum. It is as simple as they come. You have your regular light controls here, and you have to manually select the different tones. For the mic, it's an old-fashioned clip. Gotta clip it on. In the modern police cars, they come with a magnet. It's all magnetic. It's the best thing ever. You just lay that thing on there, it sticks magnetically. You ain't gotta be fumbling around trying to hook this thing up. As far as the equipment, like I said, it's all from the 2010s. Hell, some of that stuff was even from the late 90s, as well as the camera equipment, the lights, the antiquated radar from the Stone Age. It doesn't even have a digital gauge. Like I said, driving a modern Explorer FPIU has completely spoiled me. And honestly, as a police officer, I don't know why anybody would want to go back. These cars are incredibly comfortable. The Crown Vics have always been hands down super comfortable, but the Explorers have a lot more room. There's a lot more side bolstering in the seats. It makes more room for your duty belt. They are just overall more comfortable, safer, faster around the corners, faster in general. And even with the most basic of lighting, back with the old faded light bars, burnt out LEDs, and of course, who can forget about the old GE spotlights? Like I said, from an enthusiast perspective, of course, you want to have all this old equipment. You want to have this car exactly how it was 23 years ago when it was on the road, doing its thing, catching the criminals, but it just can't compare to a modern day police car. Hell, just one of these LED spotlights is brighter than both of the ones on the old FHP Crown Vic. With that being said, I'm still super excited that some departments are actually bringing back the Crown Victoria from the dead, man. They usually have them as spare cars in their fleets, getting ready to put them up for auction, getting ready to sell them for parts, use them as training, to shoot, for canine training. They're getting dusted off. All that old equipment, all that antiquated handling and suspension
it's going to be coming to a city near you. And honestly, I think it's hilarious because Ford got rid of the Crown Vics to replace them with these cars, and now the departments are going back to the classic. Hell, you know what? That actually makes me think all these new rookie cops starting to drive Crown Vics again. It might just wake up a whole new generation of Panther platform enthusiasts, Crown Vic enthusiasts, just like myself and every single one of you guys watching this video right now. And that might actually be a good thing. Either way, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let's have a little discussion. Are you guys happy to see the Crown Vic? It's not everywhere, it's not across the board, but a lot of agencies, a lot of departments are bringing it back from the dead. They're dusting off their old fleet Crown Vic vehicles. They're dusting off their old backup cars and their parts cars, and they're putting them out on the road. Personally, I think that's freaking awesome. It just makes me love these cars that much more. Another page of history has been added to these cars, never before. And they're not bringing back, as much as I love them too, the bubble caprices. They're not bringing back, they brought back the Crown Vic, old reliable. Man, that makes me proud. That makes me very proud. Either way, it's your boy Mr. Random. I'll catch you guys in the next Crown Victoria video. Take it easy.